word games. I already knew that. And now you guys get to see that too, which is great. You get to see she knows exactly how to speak up. She knows exactly what to do. Did it take her 6 years to figure it out this time? No, it did not. No, it did not. Now, if she's willing to be civil on my channel, then we can be civil to each other. Well, that's going to require some civility out of her. Some actual respect. If only what she has to say is important, then she can go away. She's got her own YouTube channel. She's got her own Facebook. She can speak up there. She can defend herself there. Just stay off of my page. And here's the thing about Misty Pollard. She sent me a friend request, as well as comments, all the way back on January 5th of 2018. And you know, there's a woman that I know who looks very similar with a similar name. And that woman used to stay with Ken Wilson and Leatha Plunkett right before I went there. Misty Pollard, I've had a few days of trying to get people to listen as far as the folks around here. Matter of fact, I've had 6 months of trying alone. Same thing in the last place, and the place before that, and the place before that. I am constantly moving. For somebody who is autistic, that is a horrible thing to do to somebody. To tell the victim that they deserve it because you are overwhelming them, that it is their fault because you are overwhelming them, when they ask you to stop because they're getting overwhelmed and you do it more and more and more and more. Maybe you did have a 13-hour shift today or yesterday. Maybe you didn't. But it's not about just yesterday. 6 years you've been on. 6 years I've been taking hell. Have you paid any attention to it? No. Are you likely to look at the evidence, or are you likely to make fun of me because I got a speech impediment? Are you likely to try to understand autism or autistic traits, or are you more likely to punish someone because they're overwhelmed? The fact is, you're more likely to punish someone for being overwhelmed. You're also doing the exact same thing that Natalie did. Playing victim. How many of her and Maddie Boa's friends did I ask to leave me alone? I typed to them, hey, I'm mentally ill. Even that wasn't enough. I had to go to my friends and family in Boulder. Well, my friends in Boulder. Because my only family in Boulder is my older brother Eric, and he was too fucked up on meth. But he was the one I wanted to see the most. I also wanted to avoid violence. People wanted to give me all sorts of advice, like, hey man, just let it go. Just don't worry about it, man. If I can just ghost it for a bit and come back. Well, that wasn't very effective. So the only time I went back to Boulder, Colorado was when somebody in Boulder needed a rescue, and I'd go in real quick, I'd retrieve them, and then I'd leave. Like Osha? Yeah. I helped her out twice after I left Virginia. Both times, oddly enough, she was needing help turning herself in. It's pretty obvious I didn't kill anybody, but it's also pretty obvious based on things the cops said that they assumed my guilt. Those of you who want to make excuses for it, well, you know what? Nobody should have to defend themselves this way. Nobody should have to act like they're predators to get people to admit that it's wrong. Misty Pollard has not tried looking at the years and years and years and years of hell that she's been on my friends list. She could have at any point in time. But instead of looking, it was an argument. It's always an argument. I'm retarded. I have a dick. I'm a dummy. My fault. Always. It sucks. But it's also not my fault. Your assumptions are not my fault. Like those people who wanted to type at me, oh, you just need to love yourself, Sean. Loving myself does not stop people from hurting me. It doesn't stop people from taking advantage of my disabilities, which includes sensory processing issues, having mental overload from too much stimuli. Being drilled takes a lot of energy out of me. I need you to listen, not grill me like I'm a goddamn... You know what? Here's the thing. The point here is that Misty Pollard doesn't fucking like it. She doesn't like it. She's reacting in the exact way she told me not to. And she does that every time. It's her first response. My first response was not to do that. Natalie Bollinger's first response was to go talking trash and lying to my friends and family. That's right. A lot of the people that were told that I was some sort of this, that, or the other were people that I was going to see. Imagine my surprise when people that I went to see and was excited to see were like, fuck you, Sean. Get the fuck out of here. I ought to break your neck. Sure you oughta, but you're not gonna. You're just gonna talk about it. Gonna shove me a little bit and tell me I'm a fucking sick piece of shit and Matty Boa said. And over again, I was like, hey, ask Matty Boa who I supposedly did that to. The only two people I knew in Virginia, because Mahalia Jean-Pierre had already left, and because Rachel was, of course, with her parents. So, I mean, there was really only two people to talk to there. Natalie and Alicia. Brett Roloff was in jail. I'd planned to see him while I was there. Didn't happen because he was in jail. Amy Witcher, her mom, or Andrew Witcher's mom, supposedly lived there. And they thought that they'd get me a job painting with her, and I thought I might be able to do that job, but no contact with Andrew Witcher's mom. Meanwhile, my sensory processing issues aren't a joke, all right? It's not something you can just blow off. My back issues are not a joke. It's not something you can just blow off. My heart are not a joke. It's not something you can just blow off. Now, the issues that I've had running around all of these services for 6 years, that's the issue. That's the problem. You want to call me mentally ill and say I need to be locked up and in a home? Yeah, there's lots of people who agree with you, myself included. But you're pissed off that I told the truth, whereas I'm pissed off people lied. Well, Natalie's first go-to was to talk trash so nobody would listen. What's your first go-to? My first go-to wasn't to go slandering people's names to get people beaten up. No, it was to go to my friends and ask for help stopping it. Tell them, hey, I'm trying to come see you. I'm trying to have some positive attitude. But I can't take care of myself. And people are being real fucking mean. You don't think threatening to kill me is mean? Misty Pollard has had 6 years to look at evidence to speak up, to do something other than fucking argue and lie, misrepresent the situation. When I blocked her, I had to block her, that's right. I gave her lots of opportunities to leave first. But ultimately, I did have to block her. And she has shown today she knows how to do all the things that she played stupid about. So maybe it's time for her to come clean. She had a 13-hour day yesterday. That's fine. But it's been 6 years, not 13 hours. The hell that I've gone through this week. Trying to jump through all these hoops. Being sent back to places that have already taken advantage of me and broken the law. Now I need somebody to actually be there and be friggin' supportive. But you have to keep your word. You have to actually make an effort to listen. You don't understand the derailing a train thing, do you? I am capable, if not being victimized, I'm capable of taking care of food, water, and shelter. When I'm stuck in these conditions, I have to be overly nice to everybody. Overly nice. That helps to reduce the harm, but it doesn't stop it. And some people, when they realize that you're nice, they'll keep on coming back and taking advantage of you. I'm not being nice to a lot of these people because I'm trying to get them to like me or hang out with me. It's because I'm trying to reduce the chances of them getting fucked up and taking shit out on me. People who are on alcohol or hard drugs are very different. Very different. But then you guys can't tell the difference, can you? You can't tell the difference between me having a meltdown over long-term abuse, and that includes neglect. That includes being completely disrespected by people talking over me, trying to finish my sentences. Or, of course, trying to insinuate things about me that are untrue. Now, of course, there are people that wanted to play victim very heavily. Like, of course, there's a woman named Caitlin Edwards. She wanted to try pretending like I was a child molester. When I told her to get the fuck away from me, to leave me alone, to get the hell out of here. I don't know her in real life either. And thank goodness she left. There's also conversations on here with a lot of people just like you. Maybe they're not just like you. They were more interactive. Cara Rogers actually saved evidence, but then she destroyed her profile. That's why there needed to be a case manager or a friend or family member to help me with this. So that when I made the calls, it wasn't just their word versus mine, even if I recorded it. So that you could speak up right away if there was a problem. Instead of telling me to do stuff that I'm incapable of doing and then abusing me for not being capable and pretending like I didn't try. There's a lot of these women who have the word single underneath their name. There's a reason they're single, and it's not that they have kids. It's not that they have kids by a long shot. There's plenty of guys out there that are fine with you having kids. There's plenty of stepdads out there. Hell, if I could get my stepdad a decent person to hook up. Matter of fact, my stepdad's name is Michael Scott Wade. If there's any total bombshells out there with millions of dollars and want a good man instead of eye candy, my stepdad looks like the ass end of a weak dead water buffalo. But he was always a good dad to my little sister. And he deserves to die with somebody who would be happy to have him there instead of treat him like a goddamn mule. My stepfather has not been historically good to me, but I like him better than my real dad because Scott took on more fatherly duties than my dad ever did. He helped take care of 4 kids that weren't his. 4 of them. My mom would spend all of his money and he'd go down to the sugar factory and go to work. Quite the little snowman. Fucking hiccups. That's what I get for smoking or rolling. Right now, I'm trying to think as rationally as possible. I got to go to 2 meetings tomorrow with places that are taking advantage of all of us. TFCC and TCCHC. What they're doing is inappropriate. But without a friend or family member there, they get to do whatever they want. If I don't show up, they pretend I'm not trying to get help. Meanwhile, I need help stopping abuse. Stopping it. Do you get that? Do you understand that I'm still taking the abuse? That includes by you. If you worked a 13-hour day, that's fine. That is fine. But you could have listened. If you can play my recordings, my audio things that I send, then you can listen. You can call me up and you can listen to my words. But when you call me up and you talk over me, that's what pushes people to commit suicide. Now, there's a lot of this MGTOW stuff. Men going their own way. I fully support this. Women make 80% of the purchasing decisions in the United States. But now, with so many men going their own way, there's a lot of women who have to learn how to do it themselves. And they tend to get more government assistance. That's where the majority of our money is going. Government assistance for women to go to college, especially if they have kids. Women who grew up in the system get first priority to every program. If there's a program. Women make 80% of the purchasing decisions. 80%. When you say women earn less money, yeah, but they spend more. They spend a lot more. If you make $100,000 a year, that's twice the earnings of most people, men or women. That's the median income is, what is it, 44,000 and 48,800 or something like that, pretty close. That was a few years ago, though. But men work more hours, 7 hours of overtime more per week. That may not seem insignificant, or that may seem insignificant, but it adds up. You don't stop to consider that I'm a person. I am a person. When you type to me that you're guilty of not seeing me as a person, well, thank you for recognizing that. But are you saying it just to say it? Or do you mean it? See, when you make me type stuff, I have to try to shorthand it as much as possible so that I don't end up just hanging myself from trying to type at you for 4 hours. But you also don't stop to consider the consequences of me going to these meetings by myself over and over and over again with somebody who's uninformed, making decisions, refusing to look at evidence, trying to change everything that I say into something that I didn't. I don't feel comfortable going there. I don't feel safe going there. Because none of you are going to listen. I have to beg you to please care. When you type at me that you care, and then you literally do exactly what you said you wouldn't, that's a complicated thing for me. Are you going to have a 13-hour day every time? Like a lot of these people? No. They didn't have 13-hour days every time. Sometimes their kid was sick. Sometimes their dog was sick. Sometimes their dog died. Sometimes their grandma died. A lot of people got cancer and never died, which is amazing to me. Did I ever tell you about the free clinic I was diagnosed with cancer at in Aurora, Colorado? Yeah, we all get these patient ID numbers when we go in. And they send us out in the mail, and it gives us this thing with our information on it and all sorts of stuff. And it's confidential, so it's just a number. My dumb ass thought I had leukemia for 6 fucking months. That's right, I thought I had leukemia for 6 months. I can only imagine the family of the person who actually had leukemia. Imagine their reaction after 6 months. They're poor. They went to a poor people's clinic. It happens. What are the chances of them being able to sue? Well, if they go in as a family, they might get heard. It also depends on if they caught it soon enough and if he died. It definitely said M for male on the sheet of paper, so it's not like I got a sheet of paper that said it was for a woman. Otherwise, I would have immediately gone, oh, well, this isn't mine. But the thing is that the numbers were off by just a couple of numbers. It's not like it was some big clerical error, but it was clerical error enough that it could have gotten somebody killed, and may have. I don't know the name of the clinic. I got to ask my Aunt Mary, not that she's going to answer. There's a lot of stuff that I said that, although those people themselves would never admit to it, well, I got other people to admit it. Like my dad, yeah, he's not going to come forward about what he was in prison for. But my Aunt Mary's aware, and she spoke up. I'm sure she wasn't happy when she realized she'd been recorded on my channel. And like most people, she said, oh yeah, I'll call you back. But she didn't. And she wanted to yell at me. Lots of people yell at me. Lots of people type that mean stuff that Misty doesn't like. So I understand full well why she doesn't like it. But on the bright side, she doesn't have hundreds of people doing it. She doesn't have hundreds of people sending her friend requests and threatening to kill her friends or family. What I'm mad at her about is not understanding that it's an emergency. It's been an emergency this whole time. When you want to give suggestions instead of finding out that I've moved Over 50 times since Natalie was killed now. Over 50 times. See, that's why there should be professionals to do this. When a fucking disabled person is in a state of crisis, these people are supposed to be aware. These doctors and specialists and all sorts of stuff, they're supposed to be aware of those things instead of capitalizing on horrible shit. See, there's a much different way to treat autistic people, but you won't listen to us. One of the channels I went to, the gentleman says, hold on, I want to make sure I get this right. When somebody has needs because of their disabilities, and you dismiss them by saying, oh, well, you know, everybody's like that. It's like when somebody is in a wheelchair and they can't make it up the stairs, and they tell you this is a need. They need to get up the stairs, obviously. And they tell you, hey, I can't get up the stairs. And you say, oh, I don't like going up the stairs either. That's his example. And yeah, that's entirely dismissive. It's still inaccessible to the person in the wheelchair. You have entirely dismissed what they had to say. Entirely dismissed it. Now, I go one further. You're in a wheelchair. You need to go to the top. And of course, when you tell somebody, hey, I need to get to the top, what do? Throw a tantrum at you? Tell you need to do it yourself? You need to man up? If they can do it, you can do it? Hey, you know, you say, hey, I can't push myself up the stairs. And they say, well, nobody can push themselves up the stairs. You're still dismissing me. You're still not paying attention to what's going on. You're not listening to understand. You're listening to reply. It's even worse for me because you don't see a wheelchair. You don't see my disabilities. Now, when I have a mental breakdown and I start rocking back and forth and making funny noises with my hands against my chest, you get to hear, what was it, 2 days ago? That therapist that I was speaking with, when she first called, I was having a fucking mental breakdown. I was trying to stim, and she was fucking mean about it. It's not okay to stim. How dare I stim? How dare I? Now, if you listen, I'll calm down. If you listen, I won't talk as fast. But you have to listen. When you're getting frustrated at me and short with me, I'm having to depend on you to write down whatever the hell you think is pertinent. That's why it's important to do it on video. That way you can go back. But also, you need to not derail the train. Every interruption past your icebreaker, that's what it's called when you say, I'm sorry, or I'm so sorry that happened. That's your icebreaker to get them to open up. It's not you going through a checklist and making sure you say all of those things. That feels very inhumane to those of us who really need you to listen, and all you care about is your fucking checklist. When people say, fuck you, Sean, you need to call 988 suicide hotline, get some real help. Some professional help. Heck, I called 988. They didn't fucking listen either because I had to call them alone. 988 doesn't do that. They send you to numbers who send you to other numbers who send you to other numbers who send you to other numbers. Oh, and by the way, those numbers send you to other numbers who send you to other numbers who send you to other numbers. It's nobody's job. It's nobody's job until one of you cares enough to say, hey, dude, knock it off. It is your fucking job. I can't fucking take care of a disabled person. He obviously can't take care of himself. How that turns into an argument every fucking time is pretty easy. Lack of respect. I tell you what my disabilities are. I try to explain to you how they affect me. That goes in one ear, out the other, and you proceed with more speaking. Derailing the train. When somebody is in a state of crisis, blowing them off, sending them to other people, saying, oh, well, I'll look up resources. No, don't do that. Not until you know what's going on. When you want to ask what's going on, that's fine. But once you've asked, let them speak. Don't make them afraid to speak by trying to tear them down and fucking interrogate them. You can interrogate them after you've heard their story. You can fill in little bits and pieces that you didn't quite understand. But don't just give baseless fucking assumptions a try. Shannon Alvarado wouldn't shut up about her conspiracy theories. Mandy Hughes had a few too. You know, I saved all the evidence I could. But because nobody ever tried right away except for me, I continue to get fucked over. And yes, something can be done. Misty Pollard showed loud and proud she knows how to speak out. She showed loud and proud. What did I start off doing? Did I start off being a dickhead when people were literally threatening to kill me and assaulting me? No. I started off by following the rules. November, this is not even 20 days after I left Virginia. I was already back in Nebraska. I already had to flee Boulder, Colorado, too. Flee Boulder, Colorado from abuse in Boulder, Colorado because of Matty Boa in Boulder, Colorado. And by the way, the first person that I told that I wanted to blow my head off so close they could feel my blood splatter on their face. That's right, I did say that. Well, I typed it. To Matty Boa, not Natalie Bollinger. All I needed was for Natalie to be my friend for just one day. Not even a full day. Just long enough for her to listen. Hey, Natalie. I get that you were embarrassed. I get it. But that is no excuse for Matty Boa and what she's doing. If I'd have had the ability to take screenshots, which, by the way, I was offering $20 an hour before Natalie was killed for help with that. $20 an hour. For help, turning in Ken Wilson and Leatha Plunkett, and of course, Matty Boa and her friends. But I needed somebody to look at it and verify it and speak up that they were, in fact and indeed, doing these things. I tagged Misty Pollard in a lot of evidence yesterday. But last night, 13 hours or not, she needed to find a way to message me. Not because there was some trust there, but because there hadn't been any trust. For 6 years, no trust. I tried to trust her. It was pretty words. Now, hopefully, she's understanding now that, yeah, I started off asking her to stop. Asking her to put a stop to it. Telling her precisely what was going on. telling Maddie Boa, but Maddie Boa didn't want to hear it. Oh no, how dare we hold a woman accountable to her actions? And those words are actions. Those words of slander, they all know. Every woman knows that if you say those things about a man, he's going to get harmed. He's going to be getting hurt and ostracized. And you don't care. No remorse whatsoever. But Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger never accused me of doing any of that. They pretended that I stalked them, pretended that I threatened their friends, pretended like I threatened the lives of their family. That's bullshit. When I was in Virginia, I was having a mental breakdown. Because people at that point, just the same as now, didn't understand that I was in a state of crisis from abuse by police, that I couldn't defend myself, that my fellow homeless people were stealing my things, knowing that I lived there, knowing that I kept my stuff there, knowing full well whose stuff it was that they were stealing, knowing full well. But none of them cared. None of them cared that I couldn't take care of myself and I was being victimized by the homeless and by the police for it. I needed help. Some of the folks at Starbucks said they'd help me. Nicole Van Duzer and Roberta Richards and God, what's Ray's last name? I wish I remembered. There's a few people there at Starbucks that they said, yeah, we'll meet up at the other Starbucks. And I went up to the other Starbucks and they never showed up. And I started crying and I sat down outside, and there's a Starbucks employee named Chris who worked at the other Starbucks, the one on University and Broadway. And he came out and he saw me. He's like, Sean, what's up? What are you doing out here? And I let him know, and he was hanging out with Ray. And he had the van, and all three of us sat at the van and spoke about it. And Ray didn't ditch me until about a year after Natalie was killed. This, oh, you're being negative kind of stuff, I suppose. I'm not being negative. I'm telling you what works, while you're telling me not to even try it. My paperwork from the hospital in November, it shows what I'm supposed to do. It also says in order to prevent these things from happening to begin with, a friend or family member is supposed to help. It doesn't even address the victim first. It addresses friends and family first. These people work together to harm me, and then they all pretend like they can't do nothing. Oh, well, we can't do anything about the police. We can't do anything about ourselves. You need to take it to the police. Blah, 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 blah. Why don't we just play tongue tag, right? Isn't that what it comes down to? You change the words for you than for me. Isn't that right? When I ask you to go away nicely, and then tell you to go away, and then insist that you do need to go away now, that means go away. It doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to pretend after 6 years that you give a shit and then ghost me again. That's mean-hearted. Like I said, I give you a tiny taste of what I go through, and all of the stuff you told me goes right out the window. Meanwhile, the stuff that you're telling me to do is the stuff that I started off with. I went to my friends. I did go to the police, but all they do is talk over me. Tell me there's nothing they can do because of jurisdiction. Well, it's using Virginia, dude. You got to go to Virginia. What happens when you call up Virginia? Sir, what are you trying to say? You're trying to say that something happened at... What? What? I don't understand what you're saying. It doesn't... What? Ugh. And these trained professionals are taught not to do this. They're taught not to play stupid, not to belittle the victim, or make them feel like crap, or push them to suicide, like Suicide Hotline. So what's the third step? First, you go to your bully and you ask him to stop. If the source of the bullying is a rumor, you go to the source of the rumor and you ask him to stop. That doesn't work in real life, doesn't work in jail, doesn't work in prison. But good luck. Step 2, go to your friends and family. Well, if they never gave a shit, they're not going to give a shit. They'll never give a shit until the day you die, when they think they can capitalize on making some cash from your corpse, like Ted Bollinger did and Rose M. Kelly did. I did what people wanted, and the police played like I was a horrible person. And the Bollingers played like I was a horrible person. Imagine that. Now I have yet to hear from Alicia Bollinger or Matty Boa a goddamn thing about doing that shit to either one of them. Alicia Bollinger, Natalie Bollinger. Where's any evidence that they said anything like that? You get to see when Natalie made her final public post, how she tried to paint it. And you get to see how the first thing people jump to, oh, he's ugly. He looks like a pedophile. He looks like a rapist. Oh my God, were you dating? No, we weren't dating. We never dated. We didn't have that kind of relationship. That's in her own fucking words. But Kara Johnson Miles lied. This is one of the predators I was trying to turn in. But none of you cared. All you cared about was telling me what to think and what to feel, while these people kept on hurting me. To this day. Making fake profile after fake profile after fake profile to harass me. And you just let it happen. Misty Pollard should have left immediately and stayed gone. She showed it was just entertainment to her. And here's the thing, you don't want me to post that stuff up on your YouTube or your Facebook? That's not okay, right? No, it absolutely is okay. You were never a friend. You never tried to be a friend. You gave me bullshit. But you never followed through with your bullshit. You want to make it just about you. You don't stop to consider that you are one of hundreds of people to bullshit me just like that. And then you want to treat me like shit because I'm being negative. No, every time you shoot down what that person is saying, you're showing that you don't care about them. You're going to exploit the shit out of my disabilities. Any opportunity or any chance that you get. That's why I make YouTube videos, because you can't interrupt me here. I can just block you if you want to be a nuisance and talk over me every time. And you know what? After you talking over me, hell yes, I'm fucking frustrated, and I'm going to use some fucking cuss words, and I'm going to be angry about it for a reason. I am frustrated. You're allowed to get frustrated. I'm not. You have help. I don't. Without your words, without you speaking up, without you making a fucking effort, it doesn't make a difference. On the bright side, I can speak up here on my channel. I can block you whenever I want, just like on Facebook. If I allow you to be a guest on my channel, after what you've done, keep in mind I'm doing the same thing with you that I did for Natalie. Giving you an opportunity to redeem yourself. I get tired of people typing at me, telling me what to think and what to feel, what to do, derailing the train. Well, have you tried going here? Have you tried going there? Have you tried calling Suicide Hotline? Yes, I have. I sent Misty Pollard evidence, a lot of evidence about that. Calling 988 is a bad idea. I do not recommend sending your friends to 988 under any circumstances or conditions. I recommend shutting up and listening to your friend. Your friend probably knows the situation better than you do. So you should listen to them instead of talk over them. Your friend came to you because they need help. And they're probably going to tell you exactly what help they need. But if you're the kind of person who's going to make an argument out of everything, and they have to try to prove everything to you, then take the time. Take the time. Take the time to look at the evidence. Take the time to call them. When it's an emergency, because of the situation here in Tillamook, Oregon, where I've been here for 6 months begging for help. I've already been denied all of the services because I had to go in alone. I've had to move from parking lot to parking lot where I get treated like I'm a piece of shit because I don't have enough money to keep on running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to fulfill the obligations of people who don't stop to understand the expenses of what they're asking. No matter what, you're just going to talk over the important shit like I don't have the money to take care of myself because of this abuse. Forcing an at-risk adult, especially an autistic adult, into these conditions is inhumane. It is less inhumane to put a bullet through my head. You don't know better than me. It's my life. Talking about you just means I know more about you than you know about me. So I'm the one paying attention. So maybe I should make decisions for your life. Maybe I should tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. I already did that. I already tried that. What was the response that I got? Oh yeah, fuck you, Sean. You're mentally ill. You're fucked up in the head. You're a sicko and you need help. Well, I started off going to the source of the rumor, going to my friends and family, going to law enforcement, going to mental health, going to therapists like Nicole Peralta, Nicole Gerald, Jeff Ritter. Those are all therapists that I had before Natalie was killed. Then there's people who are supposed to be my caseworkers, like Tamara at Region 1. And of course, Kara Heller with Colorado Coalition of the Homeless in Colorado, obviously. I was going to all these places, spending all of my money, all of my $600 in disability money per month. I got to try to split up between rent at Ken and Leah's, rent at the low income in Chapel, Nebraska, so that I can get better credit by renting that place for a whole year. Plus, I got to go see Nicole Peralta. Plus, I got to go see Jeff Ritter. Plus, I got to go see Kara Heller. Meanwhile, I'm being taken advantage of at that point in time by Kenneth Wilson and Leah Plunkett. Not major. No, they didn't do that until after I had to make a choice. Do I try to go to the Front Range as I was instructed? Now, mind you, Colorado should have been safe. Shouldn't have been no Natalie or Alicia there. They should have been in Virginia. I had no indications that they'd moved to Colorado. But you guys don't want to hear that. You don't want to look at the evidence. You don't want to try to find out what was actually said, or why I cursed, or why I was angry. And you still don't. So I got to go to these places tomorrow that are not going to help me. They've already broken the law multiple times. Because I had to go in alone, and despite the fact that I recorded it, you're not going to try to understand. Even though there is lots of stuff from actual autistic people to help you to understand. You won't even listen to them. You want to take a fucked up definition that was proven wrong over 2 decades ago, and you still want to play that off because you heard something in high school that ended up being bullshit. But that's what you heard in high school, and you know best because you're smart. You're a neurotypical, and I'm a retard, right? Have some respect for yourself. I highly recommend looking up Michelle Clark. I recommend looking up Michelle Rodriguez of Boulder, Colorado. That might be a little bit of an issue because there's a famous woman named Michelle Rodriguez. But if you look up the word Waylon Lolotai, Waylon, Waylon Lollotai, you can find out who she is and what she's been through. And she's been commenting on my channel recently. And she's been through the me screaming and shouting and being angry too. Because she ditched me over Darren O'Connor, who ended up stabbing her in the back as well. Lots of witnesses, lots of people. Also lots of douchebags who wanted to make it about them. Or troll me. Or, of course, play victim after bullshitting me. When somebody is having a fucking panic attack, yeah, you do need to fucking address it pretty goddamn quick before they end up killing themselves or getting fucking arrested because they can't. They can't kill themselves. Can't bring themselves to do it. Keep wishing somebody actually cared about them. That's all Natalie wanted. There was only one person in her life who actually loved her, and that person was me. You want to pretend that because I'm angry it means I can't love somebody? No, I am exactly angry about the right goddamn shit. There are things you don't do to another human being unless you don't say about another human being unless they actually happened. And we have taught with the Me Too movement and all this bullshit that any woman at any point in time can commit any crime and get away with it by playing victim. Oh, poor me, I'm a girl. Oh, poor me, I had unprotected sex with a guy who wasn't interested in me and thought I'd try to man trap him. Now I got kids, give me free college. Those of you women who want to tell me that's not really how it is, well, I know that it's real difficult. I know they capitalize on you being poor, but do you speak up with the other victims? Or do you bitch on Facebook? Big difference between what I do on Facebook and what you do. I try to spread awareness to the issue, whereas you focus on just Natalie. I try to point out the issue. Police violence is an issue. It's a bigger issue for the homeless than it is for black people or the disabled. By a lot. "96% of the time when police shoot somebody, it's a man. 96% of the time. Congratulations. Please stop blowing off the risks. If you're gonna look. But the amount of stuff that I'm capable of sending you will overwhelm you. It will overwhelm you. You say, we'll work on it just a little bit at a time. I do work on it a little bit at a time, but it starts off with planning. All of these places that I'm being sent around in circles to are busy telling me things that are improper, incorrect, illegal. But they don't mind. Now, obviously, I don't agree with Janelle Boggs. Not even close. She's running for the school board here. That's not okay. What's she going to do as a school board member about mandated reporting? Y'all don't like a tiny taste of what I get. If you didn't want a tiny taste of the abuse I take, well, then maybe you should have left when I asked you to. Now, since this lady has seen so fit as to walk right over my boundaries again, walk right over my boundaries after being blocked. That's what Natalie Bollinger did too. I blocked her, so she sidestepped that and spread rumors. I had to unblock her to get her to stop the rumors. Her and her sister chose to slander my name to their druggie friends, and their druggie friends chose to be assholes. You also get to see how many women that I've exposed on my channel doing this shit, who immediately go and have their friends and family come and be douchebags to me. Damn. Never wanted to do this on YouTube or Facebook. But now I have zero chance at a life. And you're never going to speak up about it. You had your chance. Don't make me go public, I will. Don't walk over my boundaries and pretend like you're the victim, because you're not. I had to make this YouTube channel so that I could speak without interruption. Without being talked over. And provided the environment without sensory overload. I can't think when you're talking, you derail the train. When I'm not in a state of crisis, it's not like that. But I've been in a state of crisis for 7 years. It doesn't feel good. You try to convince me to have no emotions about not being able to see my friends or family. No emotions about being stolen from by my friends and family. After being lied to by my friends and family. And then promising all sorts of... I don't need empty promises. Misty Pollard could call me and talk to me like I'm a person. More importantly, she could call me and listen. Ah, that was my noggin. Is she likely to do that? We'll see. Maybe she'll make the connection. Now that I made a video where I'm not yelling and screaming, I shouldn't have had to yell and scream to get her attention to begin with. I shouldn't have had to yell and scream to get anyone's attention. I shouldn't have had to go to social media to get anyone's attention. I can't take care of myself. So instead of being angry at me, instead of saying, well, have you tried this, or have you tried that, or have you gone to a home? Lanny Engeline thought that was a great idea. She was very loud and angry and condescending about it. Well, if she needs help, she has her daughter. I need help, and she says I need to be in a home. Well, let's put me in a home then. Let's put me in a home. Misty Pollard did what I expected her to do. I expected her to jump right across my boundaries again. I expected her to either make a profile to harass me today, or to... she possibly had one previously and would get on here and be angry. See, that's very much the issue. I can't say no. I don't get to walk away. If I block her account, she might make another one and another one and another one, which is why I have thousands and thousands and thousands of screenshots of trolls getting on my page. I don't hate any of these people, but you know what? I have to make sure that when I make the angry videos, I do say things like that. Either you can hear it directly from my mouth in a calm and collected way, or you can be completely and totally disrespectful, and I scream at the top of my lungs on Facebook and YouTube and use choice words. I gotta go to these appointments tomorrow alone, and the likelihood of them pushing me to suicide is great. So, yeah, it's pretty important. It's pretty important not to ignore the victim. My heart hurts. I don't like being a dickhead. I don't like being a confrontational asshole. But if people are just gonna type over me, misconstrue everything I say, everything I type, start making suggestions instead of listening, no, you don't make suggestions till you know what's going on. You won't know what's going on if you're busy talking about you. If I've been patient for 6 years and you want to be angry at me over yesterday, keep in mind tomorrow I'm getting screwed. Thanks, Misty Pollard. For what, I don't know. I really feel as if I should block her on this channel too. But maybe she'll listen to this and she'll take it to heart. I think I did pretty good through this video. I'm not completely freaking out. Thank goodness there wasn't a bunch of people driving by in the ambulances or honking their horns or turning cookies in the parking lot or screaming and shouting at each other or pissing on the side of my car or breaking bottles on the side of it like Molly did. Just insanity. And I record the insanity that I live through. Those of you who want to call me insane or call me crazy, call me a psychopath, those are hurtful words. But those of you on YouTube and Facebook are easy to block. Block user from this channel. In real life, yeah, I'm not able to do that. If I was to get into a fight, I've always been so slow in a fight. As far as the hitting somebody back goes, that they usually get 5 or 6 hits in before it registers to me that I'm supposed to swing back. It's not because I'm dazed, it's because it's nonsensical for them to do that. Someone calling themselves Leak Grass, type G's, are you okay? No, I'm not. Six years of abuse because of situations I've been forced in over crimes I didn't commit. On the bright side, later I did commit some crimes. And later on after that, I committed a whole bunch of misdemeanors. A whole bunch of them. I probably committed 10,000 misdemeanors between when Natalie disappeared and when Joseph Michael Lopez was put in prison. Maybe not 10,000, but I committed a lot. That's because, well, you can see with Misty Pollard, I gave people equality when they treated me like shit. You goddamn right, I made sure I treated them exactly how they treated me. I just used some extra choice words, like the F word and the C word. On the bright side, if I really wanted to, I could just blow myself up. It takes about $8 worth of food stamps to buy everything needed to do that, no problem. Just that I'm not okay with that. That's messy and somebody's got to clean it up. That's why I advocate for termination booths. For those of us who don't want to be here anymore. For those of us who have already been harmed by our loved ones to the point that we never want to go back. People like Natalie and I. I hate grass type best of wishes to you, my man, but I'm going to bed. I'm praying for you, bro. Oh, don't pray for me. That doesn't do anything. Speak up. Use your words. You're an adult. Imaginary spacemans don't fix this. And maybe your spaceman is real. Maybe not. That's not for me to speculate here on Earth when it comes to issues like this.